They're in the gate. And they're off. Irish Prophet began well. 34 Coupe hustled between horses. Warrior Road quicker than both, as is Cupid's Crusader on the outside and Ridley's Major in between rivals. Into the first turn, and Cupid's Crusader moves up on the outside of Warrior Road. Those two battling it out as Warrior Road not taking that turn too well, leaving an inviting opening for Irish Prophet, who takes advantage and is now on even terms with the pacemaker. Ridley's Major is now racing in fourth, 34 Coupe at the rail fifth, about 4 lengths off the pace. He's followed by Dancing Rinka. Overrule is next. Pelagio and Admiralty Place is at the back of the field. Down the backstretch, and Juan Hernandez takes Irish Prophet clear. They're in front by 2 lengths to Warrior Road in second. Cupid's Crusader and 34 Coupe right together, third and fourth, with Ridley's Major and Dancing Rika 4 wide, 4.5 lengths off the lead. Dancing Rika is making a little bit of headway now. There he goes, all the way up to grab second around the far turn. Then Overrule next, followed by Pelagio and Admiralty Place at the back of the field. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and Irish Prophet, just cruising along thus far, has a 3-length edge on a wide Dancing Rika. 34 Coupe is down at the rail. He now moves into second with a furlong left to go, and it's Irish Prophet, 4-length lead. Dancing Rika, 34 Coupe right together. Admiralty Place has come from last and is finishing nicely, getting into second, but it's all Irish Prophet. Irish Prophet dominates, wins by 4.5. Second to Admiralty Place. Then it was Ridley's Major in third, followed by Pelagio and a battle between Dancing Rinka and 34 Coupe. Cents. They're in the gate. And they're off. Naughty Evelyn is going to the lead. Parco has speed. Roman Empress down at the rails. She makes sense. And Awesome Pamela is at the back of the field. They head past the 7/8 pole, and it is Naughty Evelyn to set the pace. Uncontested, cruising along thus far. Has it a length and a half. Parco hustled into second. At the rail, Roman Empress third, followed by Awesome Pamela, joining She Makes Sense. 4.5 covers the entire field. They swing onto the backstretch with Naughty Evelyn to catch. Hounded now by Parco, who's just 3/4 of a length back with less than 5 furlongs to run. Roman Empress, Awesome Pamela, Yellow Cap between horses, and She Makes Sense outside of them. They've taken even closer order past the half-mile pole. Naughty Evelyn and Parco are on even terms. She Makes Sense 3 wide, Roman Empress at the rail, Awesome Pamela between those two. 3 furlongs out, and now Parco sets sail. Parco takes the lead away from Naughty Evelyn, who's a neck back second. A length and a half, Awesome Pamela, hard-ridden, trying to come after the top pair. Then She Makes Sense and Roman Empress, they turn for home, and Parco in control. 2.5 length lead, Roman Empress between rivals. Awesome Pamela on the outside. Here's Roman Empress coming through swiftly on the inside with a furlong to go. And Awesome Pamela, they're on both sides of Parco, and they go on with it. Roman Empress or Awesome Pamela. Roman Empress just in front. Awesome Pamela half length back and grinding. Here's the line. Photo goes to Roman Empress, upsetting Awesome Pamela. Parco third, then Naughty Evelyn. Sassy Nature to the outside. And they're off. Sassy Nature began beautifully, clears the field in just a few jumps. Devil Among Us in between horses. Tangled Duping Gray might have bobbled and is about 2 lengths off the lead. They're followed by Clouseau and Red Cross Knight at the back of proceedings. It is Sassy Nature to the half-mile pole, in hand, in command. 3/4 of a length Devil Among Us is in second, followed by Tangled Duping Gray on the outside third, and Clouseau fourth, now 4 lengths off the leader. Another 3 back to Red Cross Knight. 3 furlongs out, Sassy Nature. Devil Among Us is within a half length. These two are 2.5 clear of Clouseau, racing on the inside of Tangled Duping Gray with a quarter of a mile to go. Sassy Nature still with plenty of gas in the tank, cornering just a little bit wide as they straighten up. Devil Among Us trying hard in second, and Clouseau is down at the rail. An eighth to go. Devil Among Us trying to gather in Sassy Nature, and Clouseau continues to finish dangerously at the rail. Here's Clouseau sticking that neck out along the rail. Clouseau, Devil Among Us, Sassy Nature weakens late. Clouseau wins at 3/4. Second to Devil Among Us. Sassy Nature third. Tangled Duping Gray was fourth. They're in the gate. And they're off. Speaking Spanglish was out very alertly. So was Turquoise Bikini on the outside, and Love Our Family is quickest and takes the lead. So it's Love Our Family narrowly, Turquoise Bikini in second, Speaking Spanglish between rivals third. Golden Temper is down at the rail in fourth, followed by a 3-wide C-, who's about 5 lengths off the speed. Jacqueline Cochran is next, followed by Violet Crown. Point and Shoot, who hopped slightly at the start, is second to last, and Kind of Blue trails. Onto the backstretch, Kyle Frey and Love Our Family, dictating the terms up top, in hand by a length and a half. Turquoise Bikini is in second. Golden Temper at the rail, clearly into third, with Speaking Spanglish fourth, and about 2 off the pace. C- continues in the 3-path past the half-mile pole, and is about 3.5 lengths off the lead as they head into the turn. They're followed by Violet Crown. Jacqueline Cochran is next, followed by Point and Shoot, and another 4 to Kind of Blue. Around the far turn, Love Our Family has been there every step of the way. Turquoise Bikini is within a neck now, second. On the far outside, C-. At the rail, Golden Temper. And then comes Violet Crown, followed by Speaking Spanglish in the lime there at the top of the stretch. Love Our Family leads it by a length. Golden Temper trying to get through, nowhere to go at this stage. On the far outside, here's Point and Shoot starting to kick in late, a 16th to go. Turquoise Bikini is also in it. Golden Temper comes through in the final stages, and here comes Point and Shoot. Here's the line. Golden Temper in a very close photo with an oncoming Point and Shoot. Love Our Family was third. It's close for fourth. They're in the gate. And they're off. Quick start for the favorite Midnight Vow. On the far outside, here's Runaway Sally now up to take the lead. Only Lightning is down at the rail. They're followed by Dance Kid fourth, about 2 off the battle up top. Half Nelson is next, a gap of 4 back to Prestigious. Magic Capital is second to last, is actually last. They head into the far turn, and it's Midnight Vow leading the way. Has it a length and a half to Runaway Sally on the outside, who tries to re-engage and does so now. A length and a half back to Half Nelson, inside Dance Kid. Only Lightning steadied slightly while dropping out of it. Then Prestigious and Magic Capital. They have a quarter of a mile to run, and Midnight Vow cruises away from Runaway Sally. Now Half Nelson moves into second. They're followed by Dance Kid, top of the stretch, and Midnight Vow in complete control with a 3.5 length lead. Half Nelson trying to close the gap. And then it's a long way back to Magic Capital, moving into third with a nice rally past the 16th pole, and it's Midnight Vow. Midnight Vow, far too strong. Midnight Vow reports home 6.5 or 7 in front. Second to Half Nelson. Tight photo for third. That got very close between Magic Capital and Prestigious. Then it was only Lightning. And they're off. Even start with Rexford getting the lead. Mas Rapido on the outside, trying to keep pace to the opening furlongs. Mi Hermano Ramon is on the outside of Wound Up. Down the hill, and Rexford has company in the form of Mas Rapido, who's a half length back in second. Two more, Mi Hermano Ramon covers up Wound Up. 3 lengths covers the field past the half-mile pole. And it's Rexford and Ricky Gonzalez down the hill in front. Mas Rapido now about a length behind in second, with Mi Hermano Ramon still on the outside of Wound Up, who inches up down at the rail. Approaching the quarter pole, it's Rexford and Mas Rapido, 1-2. Mi Hermano Ramon switches to the outside for the drive and then Wound Up, turning for home. Rexford drifting out pretty badly. Mas Rapido is right there with him, and Mas Rapido puts the white blinkers in front. Even further out, Mi Hermano Ramon is trying to run down the top pair and Wound Up at the fence. It's Mas Rapido and Mi Hermano Ramon. Mi Hermano Ramon proving best. Mi Hermano Ramon outfinishes Mas Rapido. Rexford third, Wound Up fourth. The outside. They're in the gate. And they're off. Safa's Day, as a matter of fact, between them, Octopus up to battle for the lead. Here's Darn Quick on the inside, now third, 3 lengths off the battle up top, which is between, as a matter of fact, and Octopus. Those two have sped clear, with Darn Quick leading up the next flight. Sonic Breeze, Dutch Bus is next, followed by Safa's Day, who broke well, and the distant trailer is Self-Taught, already more than 15 off the pace. It's Octopus, and as a matter of fact, stride for stride around the far turn. Dutch Bus 3 wide coming after the top pair, and down at the rails, Sonic Breeze, Darn Quick between those two. Safa's Day is now joining the party, 4 wide and on the move. And from the back of the field, Self-Taught also gathering a bit of momentum. They're at the top of the stretch. And on the inside, Octopus goes on. Center of the track, Safa's Day continues to bear down. In between them, as a matter of fact, the 16th to go. And Safa's Day relentlessly coming on the outside. And Self-Taught is following him home. Safa's Day takes over, and Safa's Day wins a length and a half. Self-Taught a fast finishing second, then Octopus, as a matter of fact, then Dutch Buzz. One more. They're in the gate. And they're off. Quick start for Derecho Dandy in the center of the course, but it's So I'm Told who goes on to lead. So I'm Told, Derecho Dandy, joined on the outside by Oculus, who's about 2 lengths off the leaders. Birth of Cool in the light purple is racing in fourth, now taking third, and Circle of Champions is at the rail. Flint Stroll settles just behind him. Then it's a gap of 3 back to Quezon. General Mathis is second to last, and Chickasaw at the back of the field. Rounding the first turn at a moderate clip, and Derecho Dandy goes on to lead just narrowly, so I'm told, at the rail and neck back second. They are followed by Birth of Cool, a joint third as they swing onto the backstretch with Oculus just outside of him. Then comes Circle of Champions under a hold in the red colors, 3/4 to Flint Stroll in mid-pack, 3 clear of Quezon, General Mathis on hold just outside of him, and Chickasaw's at the back. Past a half-mile pole, so I'm told, Derecho Dandy continue to do battle up top, and they're followed by Oculus 3 deep in third. At the rail, Circle of Champions, Birth of Cool between those two. Flint Stroll in striking range. On the outside, General Mathis gets a nudge in the pink cap to try and pick it up. He does respond to touch. Down at the rail, it's Quezon in some heavy traffic, and 3 more to Chickasaw. Derecho Dandy with a 1/4 mile to go is just in front of So I'm Told. Birth of Cool is in third, coming after the top pair. Then Circle of Champions, center of the track. General Mathis, they're in the final furlong. Derecho Dandy in the center. Now General Mathis is starting to kick in. He's moving boldly after Derecho Dandy, and here he comes. And General Mathis, with all the momentum, nailed him on the money. Derecho Dandy second. Circle of Champions, So I'm Told, close for fifth, involving Quezon and Flint Stroll.
It is a fantastic day of racing from coast to coast, both at our sister track Gulfstream Park, as well as here at the Great Race Place. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge. Delighted that you decided to join us for at least part or all of your day. And before we look forwards, let's take a look backwards. Did you happen to see what happened at Golden Gate, our sister track up north, yesterday? They had a mandatory payout on the pick six. And if you had laying around maybe in a sock drawer or wanted to take out a home equity loan, if you invested $14,000 up at Golden Gate in their 20-cent Rainbow Pick Six and knew nothing about horse racing, you knew absolutely nothing, that would have bought you the entire sequence. For that $14,000 investment, you would have got back over $400,000. That's right. There were no winning tickets in the Pick Six. 5 out of 6 paid $9,000. Sometimes it's an easy game, but we turn the page and we look forward to today. It's always an easy game whenever we have our seminar guest today. He's been on many times. He's very entertaining. More importantly, he's at the track each and every day. He knows what he's talking about. His name, David Nance. David, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Always good to be here, buddy.
It's great to be with you. Now, you didn't play the Pick Six, but you played the Golden Hour Pick Four, and you got snapped off for $4,000.
Yeah, I only had 13.5 in my drawer, so I just said, I can't play this. I didn't have all 14,000.
It's crazy that nobody hit the Pick Six, but you know, sometimes Golden Gate flies underneath the radar, but it's still money. You would have more than 30 times your investment. I mean, where else can you do that? You certainly can't do it in the stock market or in the certificate of deposit.
I think the Golden Hour Pick Four is one of the best bets around right now. It's tremendous value every single day. I think it's a kind of a hidden bet. I think more people should start looking at it.
Well, it's a higher minimum, so you can't shotgun every single race. It gets too expensive. It's a lower takeout. A lot of people don't know a whole lot about Golden Gate, so that adds an element of intrigue.
Golden Gate's tough. I mean, that Tapeta is tough. One day it's fast, next day it's slow. I don't know.
It's very unpredictable,
it's not
right?
easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. Now, but sometimes the game is easy, and you've had your fair share of success, and you come to the track every day. With technology, David, you could sit at home and do all the honeydews and play the races in between, but you decided to come to the track every single day when we have live racing at San Diego. Why is that? Why do you think that gives you an advantage?
Well, I just feel, I'm alive here. I mean, I don't, being retired, I've been at the racetrack my whole life. I just, want to come out here and be with everybody, the camaraderie here. I mean, we're all getting older. Sadly, all the great guys that used to be around are no longer here. And I mean, I'm going to be one of them soon, but certainly I just want to be a part of it every day still.
We're on death row, that's for sure. We're certainly, the numbers are dwindling down. But when I moved out to Southern California in 1986, and I would stand up by Nola's bar, you would be there with Jimmy the Mouth and Woody and a whole bunch of other guys. And you would use the sheets a lot. I don't really see you using the sheets that much anymore.
I do use the sheet. I write numbers in every single day. I use it as a tool. I mean, like I said, I think, the sheets have, I don't want to knock the sheets. I mean, I think they're a useful tool, but the way they're transcribing the number now, I don't know if it was as good as it used to be. When you look at Thorograph and you look at the sheets, I mean, Ragazine, there's such a discrepancy in patterns and numbers, and you honestly don't know what to believe.
You make a good point, though, David, and that is I think some players rely too much on just one tool. In other words, they maybe just rely on the sheets and discard everything else. Or another player looks in the paddock to look at them physically and discards everything else. To me, I think you have to incorporate as much information as you possibly can, put it all together like a chef, and then see what happens as a result of it.
I mean, if horses were machined, the fastest horse would win. The fastest number would win every day. And we know that trip is everything. I believe that race strengths are one of the most important things that we find on the racetrack.
So in other words, a key race.
Key races that are like that, yes.
You want to check your phone and see who's bugging you?
I'm so sorry. I just want to turn it off.
Let's find out who that is. Is it anybody we know?
It's one of my eggs. It's one of the eggs probably wanting to know what I like. And don't worry, you'll have plenty of time before I break you.
You talked about trip, and basically that's so important. You're a big advocate of watching race replays.
Absolutely.
You go back and
do
watch
it every
them.
day.
You do it. You do
Most
it extensively.
Important thing, I think.
For the weekend warriors who don't have the luxury of coming to the track every day like you and I do, what are maybe some of the subtle things you look for when you're watching a race replay?
Well, I try to see if there's duels in the race. I like to see how horses break. I like to see what the jocks do and what their intentions are. There's a lot of subtleties. I mean, I learn something every day. I think probably the old days, Bob Reinhardt was one of the greatest tape watchers. Rene Romero, wonderful. I think my friend Richie in Las Vegas is outstanding. I don't think anybody knows anything more than he does. I learn something every single day. And I think you have to continue to grow. And because you don't want the horse you don't want your horse to look good because other horses are making him look better than he truly is.
It's a valid point, David. And I had a young kid yesterday as my seminar guest, Sebastian, who you might know works here as the brand and marketing ambassador. But he's only 28 years old. We're obviously a little bit older than him. We never stop learning as horse players, right? I mean, you've been coming to the track your whole life. You still continue to learn. You still learn from other people. That's probably one of the reasons why you
I
come
try
out
to
the
always
track.
keep an open mind. Like I said, I talk to so many different people, and everybody has an opinion, and I always want to know why. I think that's the most important thing. I mean, you just don't tell me you like him because I want to know why. And I think that's important.
And when you watch the replays, David, do you watch a lot of the head-on shots as well besides the pan shots?
I will watch the head-on, especially if a horse is getting pinched. I want to see how bad he's getting pinched. Or if a horse is on the outside and looks like he breaks way out, where you can't really see it on the pan, I'll look at that. Yeah.
We never get pinched when we have David Nance as our seminar guest. We're going to talk about not only the Pegasus World Cup down at Gulfstream Park that goes as their 13th and final race. We'll also take a look at today's 9-race card here at the Great Race Place. We've got 2 Grade 2 stakes, which one of them has Kentucky Oaks implications. It's also the first leg of the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. We'll do all of that, but before we do, let's toss it over to Frank Miramati for the early scratches on today's card.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf course is firm. The rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the changes. First race starts the 50-cent early pick 5. Just some blinker notes, as always noted in your program. The second is the Grade 3 Las Virgenes Stakes. No changes. In the third, we have the program scratch of number 9, Big Shamrock. Race 4, blinker note, Rainbow 6 starts with 219,000 in the carryover. In the 5th race, no changes. Race 6 started the late pick 4, no changes. In the 7th race, blinker note, 8th is the Grade 2 San Pasquale, blinker note. Also, the 8th starts the Golden Hour pick 4, and in the 9th, we have program scratches of 9 and 11. Back to Quigley's Corner we go now. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. David Nance is Tom's special guest.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with veteran horse player David Nance. He's at the track each and every day. He doesn't get paid to do so. The only way he does get paid is by cashing tickets, and we're hopeful that he helps us cash some tickets today. So, David, I know you did the work, so let's kind of dive right in. Starting in race number 1, which begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5, we're sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the flat turf course. The rails today are at 0 feet. This first race is for maiden claiming fillies and mares. $50,000 is the claiming tag. We've got a field of 6. Money line favorite in the current betting choice at 8-5 is number 3, Real Fire, ridden by our leading jockey, Juan Hernandez. This is the first of 5 morning line favorites that Juan is piloting today. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite here?
I like him. I mean, I picked him second here. I don't necessarily like the trainer switch. Not that I'm knocking Steve Knapp, but going from John to Steve, it's a little bit, the other way. And he does pick up JJ, who's done nothing wrong at this meet. So, depending upon what Soul of the Warrior does, if they go out there and duel, he could be compromised a little bit. If they let him go, he could be double tough. I picked the 2-horse, Ali Badar. He adds blinkers today, comes out of the Catarini race. He got shuffled back down the backside. He was 4 wide. He was a clear third. He was definitely in hand. I think the blinkers will help him today. The extra half furlong, I believe, will help. And like I said, I think if the race gets compromised with 3 and 5, I think 2 will come running. Rispoli, he makes all the right moves on the turf as well. You don't know much about the Kitching Man from Zia Park. He's certainly bred royally, to improve on the turf. So, maybe like a long shot, I might think he could hit the board as well.
David, we're only 10 minutes into the seminar, but a couple of times you've already used the word duel. And basically what that means is you're kind of anticipating what the early pace is going to be like, and a couple of speedballs kind of knock heads with each other. When you handicap a race, besides maybe looking at who the fastest horse is, you're always kind of trying to see what the race shape of what the shape of the race is going to be.
I don't see how anybody can handicap with not understanding pace. If you don't understand pace, you just don't know. And of course, that's why we scream and yell at the jocks sometimes, because in our mind, we're thinking, okay, this is where I want him to be. And then he's not there or another guy's there. So, yes, I think pace makes the race always.
And can change the outcome of the race dramatically depending upon what happens.
Always.
Race number 2 is the first of our graded stakes race on today's card. It's the Grade 3 Las Virgenes Stakes. It also begins the 50-cent early pick four. It's for 3-year-old fillies traveling a flat mile. The winner will earn 20 Kentucky Oaks points. And also, if we can show the graphic, this is the start of the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5 that I referred to. We've got the last 3 races at Gulfstream Park as part of the coast-to-coast pick 5. And this is the very first race of the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. You can see right there in the graphic, post time, I should say, for the first leg of the coast-to-coast pick 5 is this race number 2, which is at 12:59 p.m. Pacific time. Another good wager that always pays well because of the higher minimum and the low takeout. All right, David, we've got 2 favorites in here, basically separated by a razor thin margin. Number 1, Feza from the Baffert barn, and number 6, Justique from the John Sheriff's barn are 8-5 and 9-5 respectively. Is it as easy as that, or are you looking for a bit of a price?
No, I'm looking elsewhere. I mean, it's a very, very competitive race. The one thing that's interesting on the 3 horses that ran in the FISA race, which is FISA, Pride of the Nile, and Uncontrollable, it was at Los Alamitos, and that is a definitely different racetrack. It's a different layout, different dimensions, the way they break and how they
different surface.
And I mean, Pride of the Nile was way the best out of that race. I mean, he completely missed the break. He just was down inside. He took the worst of it down inside. He came through on the rail. I mean, he was awesome. I mean, he bobbled. I made him my top choice, but certainly, there's surface switching today. Everything could change. I mean, I'm against Justique today. I don't want everybody to go, but I mean, I think he's a really, really good horse. They say he was not ready when he routed down at Del Mar in the Chandler. I looked at it the way he races. I think he's a Del Mar horse, Tom. I think he's a late running sprinter. I think he's a beautiful looking horse. I could be dead wrong here, but I'm definitely going to try to beat him. I think Faze is probably the horse to beat again. He's got contending speed. His maiden win was really, really good. 21-4, 43-4. He dueled and just was in hand. Then he got the perfect trip the other day behind those horses that were dueling up front down at Los Alamitos. And he's probably the horse to beat. I think Street Trouble is the horse that I'm trying to get to upset this field. He's a beautiful horse. They paid, $600,000 for him. He's had 2 sprints. I like the way he finished the other day. This is what he wants to do. Into Mischiefs, they want to route. I just feel that this is he's a stranger coming out. He's a maiden and he's a stranger. But I think this is what this horse wants to do. I respect that Phil D'Amato would run a maiden in a stakes horse like this. They just don't run horses to run them anywhere. And the other horse that I think that's got a very good chance, if somehow the one takes back, Broadway Girls is just ultimately super sharp. Both of his maiden race and that the Blue Northern down at Del Mar, he was ultra impressive in both of them. He had gas in the tank twice when he was finishing. So he's changing surfaces today, and again, you just don't know.
Couple of additional notes that I'll add to what David said. First of all, Feza worked in company with a very talented Bob Baffert runner, Arabian Lion, back on January 20th. You can watch that workout courtesy, absolutely free, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com. Also note that Feza carries co-high weight of 124 pounds. I don't know if that'll be meaningful. We'll find out as they come down the lane, but certainly that extra weight could work against her. Race number 3, David, 1 mile on the turf course. Fillies and Mare Calebreds, allowance optional claiming types. A field of 8 after the program scratch of the 9. Number 2, True Patriot from the Carla Gaines barn, who has had a very good meet. And speaking of good meets, what about Kazushi Kimura? Has made a very positive impression to me, piloting True Patriot in this particular race. 3-1 on John White's morning line. Give us your thoughts on race 3.
It's a very, very competitive race. I made him my top choice. Broke good, fell way back down the hill. Just had one horse beat turning for home, and I mean, he just stormed home. He finished full of run. He galloped out really, really good. I was really impressed by the race. I made him my top choice. There's other speeds in the race. Issa Court could show speed. Precious Baby was ultra impressive, breaking his maiden, came back and dueled in allowance non-winners. You know, that was open back to Calbred. He, you know, depending again how this race shapes up, you know, Ben Cecil's horse, Elithura, I know he's doing very, very well, working super according to Toby, and he finished good with a perfect trip. I can't rule him out. The horse that I'm trying to upset here, I made him my second choice, was Lady Marianne.
Which is number 7.
Number 7.
George Gutierrez's
horse.
That race back on May 28th here at San Anita, when she finished second to Fun to Dream, who obviously is a Baffert monster, a Calbred daughter of Arrogate, as a matter of fact. That race to me sticks out, but that was on the main track. This is now 2 turns on the turf. You think she's going to like going 2 turns on the turf?
Again, she got completely eliminated the other day. She lost at least 5. I was generous and said 5. It could have been more, but he finished with her feet underneath him. The horse galloped out okay. I think this horse can show speed today, depending upon what Issa Court, Precious Baby do. You know, if somehow Ken Frey's, listen, I'd like to see him on the lead. You know, I'd like to see him put him on the lead and stretch out here. You know, Curling the Mischief, you know, as a rule, I'm not so sure that they want to go a route, but I'm just projecting this horse to try to get to the lead, and at a price, I think he's worth it.
Fair enough. Let's see if we can find a price in race number 4. It begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 sequence. The jackpot single ticket carryover now starting to get juicy, up to $219,000. That'll be yours, plus whatever is wagered today if you're the only winning ticket in the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. And we saw how difficult that was yesterday at Golden Gate. And we kick things off here at San Anita, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. Calbred maiden claiming 3-year-old fillies in for a $50,000 tag. Field of 8, and the second-time starter, number 1, Cornelia Fort from the Steve Miotti barn, is the 5-2 morning line favorite, adding Lasix, dropping down in class, shipping down from Golden Gate. What say you about race 4, David?
Well, I made it my top choice, and I always don't understand what trainers do, and I don't profess to know that, but, you know, I mean, he thought enough of this horse. You know, he had him up there. He thought I'm going to run him in maiden special weight. I thought he ran awful impressive. He laid second. He actually moved into the turn head and head with the winner, or with the horse that kind of came off the pace and won. Never stopped running. That was open. It is back to Calbreds. I made him my top choice. He goes and gets JJ. I mean, that, like I said, he's done nothing wrong at the meet. The horse I originally thought was to beat, and I made him my second choice, was Sweet Halo. His second race down against 32 open against Black, and it was like a 5-horse vicious duel down there. He never stopped running. He was awesome there. Then they stepped him up to this level, at the Calbred level. Had a good trip, opened up, looked completely home, and there was a first-time start of Jerry Wallace's that day. That was pretty impressive, and laid like third and just ran by him. I don't think he stopped. I just think he got run down that day. So that being said, I don't know much about Storm de Oro. You know, in a race like this where horses have had chances, you know, this horse could always be dangerous with Hector's. Sue Generous, his 3 races he's been running against maiden special weight, opened up. I mean, he opened up in maiden special weight, and then two even runs against Calbreds. He finished okay the other day, galloped out okay. I'd make him my third choice, but I think the horse to beat is the Rail.
And David mentioned the rail, number 1, Cornelia Fort. He also mentioned Juan Hernandez in the saddle for Steve Miotti. If you have the Racing 4 in front of you, take a look at when they teamed together. 11 times they've done that over the last 18 months or so. They've only hit the winner's circle 55% of the time. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. We're back on the turf course. We're back sprinting. 6 furlongs in the distance for maiden special weight, fillies and mares. A field of 7. Number 2, Lucky for You, who just missed on debut from the Bob Baffert barn, is the 6-5 morning line choice. Here's another live one for Juan Hernandez. Talk talk to us about race 5.
I mean, lucky for you, he probably will be pretty tough in here. It's a competitive race. I mean, depending upon, the pace, again, side by side, socially smart, those are the two horses that most likely will go to the lead. I think side by side is a little bit faster. His second race down against Izzy M, he ran awful good in Phenom, who came out of that race to tow rope his next race. If he somehow gets clear, I could see him going wire to wire. I made the rail my top choice. Both of his races, I think, were very impressive. His race against Topolino, he broke 3 slow. He just kind of tracked back there. He finished full of run. And then against all 4, there's 4 of them that come out of the Rebel Girl race here. He broke 2 slow again. He was pulling. He checked twice down the backside and then kind of lost all of his momentum and just kind of finished even. I think with a clean start today, I think this horse could be very, very tough. He gets Maldonado today, which, and I mean, no knock on Joe Bravo. I love the way he rides on turf, but I mean, if you want a guy on sprinting, I think it's Edwin.
Here's a little bit of an inside information tip on number 7, Snip, the filly on the bottom. You can see trained by John Sherris. They paid $260,000 for her. She's a daughter of a Ghost Zapper. We haven't seen her since August down at Del Mar. She didn't really pick up her feet in those first 2 tries, but if you go back again, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com and watch her workout on January 21st, you'll see she worked out and held her own with none other than Justique, who's one of the favorites in race number 2. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4, 1 mile on the main track, a field of 6. This is an allowance optional claiming race. The morning line favorite down on the bottom, number 6, Street Ruckus from the Vladimir Sarin-Barn. Sarin-Barn has been kind of quiet lately. I'm waiting for him to wake up because when he wins in bunches.
He does.
Is he maybe going to win race 6, David?
Well, I think he obviously, again, another super competitive race. I made the race 5 too. I'm trying to get Manawish to go wire to wire. As you can see, I'm a speed guy. I mean, I'm just always looking for horses to clear here. He gets Hector today. I like what the Tory wrote, how aggressive he was the other day, and he held his own, never stopped running, galloped out good after really going super fast, on that off kind of a racetrack. I'm trying to get him to go wire to wire. Royal Act ran for an open 50, which is, probably equally as competitive at this level. He ran awful good. He broke a little bit slow. He was 3 deep on both turns, finished good. I can't say no on him. I kind of made him my third, third choice. Tis Quantum, I was kind of impressed with. He came off the layoff on the turf down at Del Mar. He had trouble in there. He kind of lost all chance at the start. He checked. Then the other day he added blinkers, and they weren't going that fast. 22-4, 47-2 at Del Mar going a flat mile. It's kind of walking really. And this horse was just, Mo had him in the perfect position down the backside. He just swung him out there about 4 or 5 wide, and he won with a piano in his mouth. So I made the race 5 too, and I think 1 and 6 obviously have a shot. Even Balladeer, I couldn't say no on.
David, for the purposes of the seminar, I have a question for you. We obviously have to analyze and look at all 9 races to be fair to the betting public. But when it comes to stepping up to the window and making wagers, do you kind of, if it moves, you wager on it, or are you a little bit more selective and disciplined? Like, give us a glimpse into how disciplined or how little disciplined you are.
Well, I'm a rolling bet player. I mean, I think that's all the value. I think, when you try to turn little money into big money, it's always been my way out at the races. I mean, like the rest of us, I sometimes can't sit and, looking for squirrels to bet on if I had to, But
the good news is if you play the pick 5 and you get knocked out, you've already handicapped the sequence for the pick 4.
Pick 4, right. I'll usually come right back into that pick 4 and do that, yes,
right.
As a rule, yeah.
Do you dabble with win bets at all if it's a certain price? Or do you
I will definitely bet win if it's a certain
knockout
price, yeah. I don't know where the place and show button is. I never did.
What is your minimum price for a win bet, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'd like to see double digits, of course.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
I'd like to see double digits, yeah.
Is there ever a time where you bet blinking lights 7-2?
I try not to carry that chalkboard in my back pocket, Tom.
Race number 7. Once again, sprinting on the turf course, 6 furlongs the distance. Maiden special weight Cowbreds, 3-year-olds. A field of 7, number 4, Moon Ice from the John Sadler Barn, ridden by Juan Hernandez. 6-5 on the morning line. Chalky here or looking elsewhere, David?
No, Spiritual Advisor is probably my best bet of the day. I thought his last race was awesome. Again, he broke good. He was pulling. He lost all chance. He got completely stood on his head. He fell back. He looked hopelessly beaten, and he finished just full of run. I mean, he just ran so good in there. I really like this horse today. Moon Ice, of course, he will he got the absolute perfect trip and ran very, very well, but he couldn't get by Millis Papa that day with a perfect trip. And I thought Spiritual Advisor was just so much better than him. And my third choice would be Buck Owen in here. His first race was pretty good. He gets blinkers off today. I'm not sure exactly what to make of him, but I think Spiritual Advisor is pretty solid in here, Tom.
With that in mind, David, would you single Spiritual Advisor on all your multi-race tickets? Would you be that aggressive?
I will. Yeah, I will definitely single him.
Do you play multiple tickets and maybe use another horse as a backup, or you just push all your chips in?
It just depends how broke I am at that point in the day, but certainly if I have extra money, I'm firing. I will make backups, yes.
Well, one of our friends who's not broke is a good friend of yours, Eric Roth, who's obviously a multiple Academy Award winner. What's he up to these days?
Well, thank God for Eric Roth. That's all I can say. He's doing well. I just came back from New York. They saw the premiere of his new movie.
What is it?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay.
Coming out here soon on Apple TV. Going to be streaming on Apple. And Eric's pretty honest. I mean, he's going to probably be nominated for the Academy Award to make him probably the all-time for screenplay nominations. He tells me it's fantastic, and he pretty much knows. So I have to go with him.
You hang out with him a lot, and obviously he's got a talent that is very, very unique that most of us don't have. When you're just hanging out with him at the hockey game or the baseball game, does his mind drift and does he bounce ideas off of you, or is he kind of a private person? He's so talented. How would you describe your interactions with him?
Sadly, the lines I've given him, I've never got paid for. So
well,
I'm hoping he's listening.
That's because you're not a good screenwriter.
Yeah. Well, he's always writing, I got to use that line. I've got to use that line. But certainly we talk about things, yes. And he's got a brilliant mind. And like I said, we've talked about this before. It's not easy sitting at 2:00 in the morning thinking about how he's going to take that book adaptation to screen.
What is it about horse racing that he likes? Is it just an escape?
I think he's a New York kid. He grew up in New York, sitting on soda boxes, looking into Ebbets Field, just been a sports guy his whole life, loved horse racing. Dad went to the track back at Belmont and Aqueduct. I mean, he's ready.
Well, certainly he is one of many celebrities that visits the Great Race Place on a regular basis, and we appreciate him being a fan of the sport, and we appreciate any insight you can give us as to what his next movie might be.
It's going to, well, yes, I will. And like I said, it's Killers of the Flower Moon.
After that, I know he's got like 3 in the pipeline.
Oh yeah. He's got this movie called Here coming up. There's probably started shooting this month. It's with Tom Hanks. It's set in the one room of a home, and it goes through time with families, different families. It never leaves that room, and it just goes through just different adaptations of different families, even animals, and it's pretty amazing. It's directed by Bob Zemeckis, who's just an absolute genius. I mean, he was the first to really, with Forrest Gump, all that computer adaptation, and it's supposed to be pretty special.
If you're not familiar with the name Eric Roth, do yourself a favor and Google his name. You'll be amazed at the credits he has that he's been a part of. He is certainly one talented individual, and more importantly, he's a horse player. Race number 8 is our second Grade 2 stakes race on the card. It's the Sam Pasquale Stakes. It's a prep race for the San Anita Handicap, the big cap, and we're going 1 1/8 on the main track. We've got a field of 9. Also, race 8 begins the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4, linking our last 2 races, I should say, here at San Anita with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. Yesterday's $1 Golden Hour Pick 4 paid in excess of $3,700. Congratulations to those skilled and lucky ticket holders. But in race number 8 today, the layoff horse, number 1, Hopper, taking blinkers off for trainer Bob Baffert, is the 5-2 Maury line favorite. Edwin Maldonado didn't go to South Florida and get the mount undefunded. He got booted for one of the Ortiz brothers, so he's going to be motivated to win for Mr. Baffert to show that he can get the job done. Who do you like in race 8 and why?
I like him. I'll tell you why I like Hopper here. Because if you look at these horses, you look at Triple E, Parnelli, all the rest of them. If you look at the Lasix line on these horses, every time they came off Lasix, none of them really ran that well.
And that's a very important distinction.
None of them ran that well.
Right?
Yeah, and this horse came off Lasix the other day and he toe roped that field. And I think he controls the race inside. You've got Newgrange and Messier on the outside. I mean, I just think Edwin's going to be down the road here. He controls the pace. Blinkers off is always one of my favorite things in speed horses. So I made him my top choice. I didn't really know where to go second here, Tom. I'm going to just take a flyer with the newly turned 4-year-old Perfect Flight with Peter Peter Miller. He's due to get hot. He's been struggling a little bit here, but I always respect every horse he puts on that racetrack. He'll get the right trip here. I mean, I think he'll just kind of sit second or third, and if somehow Hooper just doesn't ring the bell, I'm going to make him my second choice.
What about the other Bob Baffert runner, David, on the outside, number 9, Messier? Kent DeSormo and Bob Baffert reunite. They haven't been together for quite some time. Third off the layoff, obviously he struggled since that good second in the Santa Anita Derby. Do you expect him to rebound in any way, shape, or form?
I don't know why. I mean, usually Bob brings them back. It's not like he's giving them 3 and then here we go. I mean, they're ready to rock and roll right out of there.
Right.
And I mean, he's basically twice. I mean, I know that this horse was pretty special when he first came on the racetrack, but I mean, obviously he's for me, he's taking a step back.
Need to see a better improvement before you're willing to back him with any of your hard-earned money. Race number 9 closes out the day, but it doesn't close out the week. That's because tomorrow, of course, we have live racing here at Santa Anita. Sunday's card has 9 races beginning at 12:30 p.m. But first things first, race 9 commences the $5 Golden Hour Daily Double, similar concept as the Golden Hour Pick 4, except the Golden Hour Daily Double links our last race with the last race at Golden Gate. And we're going 1 mile on the turf course for fillies and mares. It's just a straight allowance race, non-winners of 1 other than. 2 program scratches, both numbers 9 and 11 will not compete. Leaves us with a field of 11. Good competitive race here. Morning line favorite number 6, Kitty Katana from the Phil D'Amato barn. 3-1 on the morning line. We need a dinner, David. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, I won't. Don't worry. I won't be chalking my cue in this race. I'm going for Honey Jar. I'm going for Mike McCarthy's horse, my buddy Michael. I know he's kind of a bounce today. He could bounce today, but I just see him controlling the pace. He was awesome the other day, dueled every step of the way. Second quarter was 23-1. I mean, 21-2 off that split. And that race course that day was pretty heavy. I thought he ran awesome. I think he's going to control the pace here. It's a super competitive race. I watched Controls Function in New York. I don't know what to make of that horse. He comes from Chad Brown, which obviously is, one of the best trainers on the East Coast. Comes to Georgie, who's been doing nothing wrong. The pace was slow. He sat. It looked like he was kind of going up and down, and then all of a sudden he just kind of exploded at the 16th pole. I don't know if the horse was just stopping up front, and he just won very, very easily and was galloping out good.
I was supposed to at 1-2 odds.
Yeah, I could see that horse here. I wanted to like the rail. Pratt gave him a perfect trip the other day. Wasn't very good. I think agree to disagree. If you're a numbers player, everyone's going to like him. Came back, trained B+. He's had 3 chances at this level, which makes me a little bit weary of him. I make him as a competitor. It's a horse that I picked. And obviously, Kitty Katane, he goes to JJ today, stretching back out. Certainly, his race back where they went so slow, 24-4, 49-1. Pratt just sat perfect, opened up, and he got run down there. So, I just kind of think at a low price, he's kind of a horse to beat here. And I made Pop-Up Stream my second choice. I just think his second race down made him competitive here. He's off of a layoff. He likes Santa Anita. At the price, I would try to get him in as well. Like I said, I made the race 4 and 12, Tom.
David, I'm going to put you on the spot and make you a psychiatrist and a psychologist. And you mentioned Flavian. Of course, he's not here today. He's riding at Oaklawn Park in the Southwest Stakes, but he is certainly struggling up to this point.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He only has 5 wins. Coming into this week, believe it or not, Flavian had 1 win from 46 mounts on the turf course. That's such an unusual stat. Do you have any sense as to why he might be struggling? Do you see anything on tape?
No, I don't.
Do you see anything?
I don't, but I think sometimes, just like great hitters, great shooters, when they go into a slump, they start guessing and they start second guessing themselves, questioning things. Sometimes I see him moving a little bit sooner than he would. Like I said, he was God here. I don't know necessarily. JJ has improved so much. The presence of Johnny V, and of course Frankie, puts a little bit more pressure on you, and you're not like I said. I don't like to. It's not a knock on any other jocks that are in the
human
room.
nature.
Yeah, but sometimes when you look around, you look and say, it's like I used to say with the old trainers that used to get a little extra help from the vet. When the horse goes from that stable to another stable, and he's looking down the shed row saying, "Where's that truck?" He's waiting for that vet's truck to come down. Sometimes it doesn't come. So I think with Flavian, I think he just might be pressing. And sometimes, you just got to keep shooting. I mean, that's what the good shooters say. or the good hitters just say keep in there and keep swinging. So sooner or later he'll break out of it. He's too talented, way too talented.
Shoot or shoot. That's David Nance's motto in life. That's for sure, David. It's a pleasure always having you on the
It's always
seminar.
good to be here, Tom.
Pleasure having you watching as well. Keep in mind the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5 starts with Santa Race 2. It concludes with the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream Park in race number 13. That pool is going to be huge simply because the eyes of the racing world are on our sister track, Gulfstream Park, as they should be today with an outstanding card. So get involved. It's $1 minimum with a low 15% takeout. Post time for race 2 here at Sandy is 12:59 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate your time invested in hoping to learn a few things and maybe have David give you a few winners. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late program changes. Have fun, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, turf firm, rail in the turf at 0 feet. Here are the changes. Blinker notes in race 1, start of the 50-cent early pick 5. The second is the Grade 3 Las Virgenes, no changes. Second race also starts the Coast to Coast pick 5, combining 5 races from Santa Anita Park and Gulfstream Park. Race 3, scratch number 9, Big Shamrock. That was a program scratch. The fourth starts the Rainbow 6 with $219,000 in the jackpot carryover. In the fifth race, beginning of the late pick 5, there are no changes. No changes in the 6th, which starts the late pick 4. Blinker note in race 7. The 8th is the Grade 2 San Pasquale and start of the Golden Hour pick 4. Just a blinker note there. And in the 9th, program scratches of 9 and 11. Golden Hour double begins with our 9th. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. 27 minutes to post for race 1.